Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have 10 things I hate about you. Yeah, this is decidedly not very Disney. This is probably the most, I mean, it's PG-13, but it's probably the most racy right out of the gate out of anything you'll find on Disney Plus. Mrs. Perky, like the guidance counselor, is writing erotic fiction on her humongously thick laptop. Um, Someone might even say turgid. No, that's not the proper term. But yeah, anyway, yeah, they there's there's profanity, there's sexual innuendo throughout, and it's surprising that it's on Disney Plus. When I first saw it here long ago, and I've been waiting for this moment to actually reach it, because it's one of those '90s movies. It's from 1999. It's the capper romantic comedy. For 1999. Yeah, there were other bigger movies, absolutely, but this sort of is a who's who of young Hollywood crammed into this. I mean, beyond having leads with somewhat unknown Heath Ledger, along with Julia Stiles, you got David Krumholtz, you got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which people knew from Third Rock from the Sun and things like that, but yeah, this is also Larissa Olenek. Sorry, Larissa. Uh, there's let's see. I'm gonna go through a few more names here: Andrew Keegan, Susan May Pratt, Gabrielle Union, and of course Larry Miller and Daryl Mitchell. And Allison Janney has the guidance counselor. There's a bunch of names, great character actors throughout this. Larry Miller is always hilarious, playing the dad of the two sisters, played by Julia Stiles and Larissa Olniak, Nick, whatever. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, Kat and Bianca, Kat and Bianca are sisters, and dad is a gynecologist, or maybe he delivers babies. No, he delivers babies because he sees the bloody aftermath and he cannot stop talking about it, because especially when it comes to young women that he's helping give birth. Um, hmm, he likes to remind his daughters that he doesn't want them to end up in those situations at a young age, as any father would. But he gets into a little bit more graphic detail, and he's a little bit more obsessive about it. Um, the rule is that Kat, who's an antisocial B word that most people don't get along with, she's just, teachers don't like her, other students don't like her, especially this one guy in school. What's his name? Joey. He's like this sleazy kind of cool guy with the hot car kind of guy that you have in every school, who figures he's every woman would die to be with him. It's pretty much in his brain that's the way things are. And yeah, she doesn't get along with anybody. On the other hand, her sister, younger sister, played by Larissa, Bianca. Bianca is cute as button, loved by everyone for the most part. She's a little bit self-obsessed, but she's a little bit vapid. But and she wants to go out with Mr. Hot Car Guy, who's kind of sleazy. But Dad has made the rule, after a lot of frustration, trying to hold his daughter's back. Well, one daughter, because Kat doesn't want to date anybody. She has no interest. So he makes the rule that Bianca can date when Kat starts dating. He figures this is a foolproof plan. But of course, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character Cameron, he has the hots for Bianca, while Bianca likes Joey. And there's a new guy also in town, played by Heath Ledger. What is his name? His name is Patrick. Well, Verona. That name should sound very familiar to some of you and who know Shakespeare, because this, if you haven't figured it out already, this is based on The Taming of the Shrew, the classic Shakespeare play. It's a very modern take on it, of course, but the skeleton, the core of it is still there, very much there. It's some twisted romantic shenanigans throughout here. And of course, well, David Krumholtz is the friend of Cameron, who's just come to the school, and they work together to try to get Joey to convince Patrick to date Kat so that Joey can then date Bianca, but it's really so that Cameron can date Bianca. It's really confusing. Not really. It's confusing the way I say it, but it makes sense when you watch it. Yeah, it's surprisingly not that complex, but it's fun to watch it all come together. And by the way, David Krumholtz is just awesome in this. He is hilarious. Everybody is knocking it out of the park in this, and it looks like they're having a good time. They're shooting it up in Seattle, Tacoma, and yeah, it's just a fun freaking film, and I'm surprised it's on Disney Plus because it doesn't fit with pretty much anything else. I don't know. It's just a Fox film, and I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's not one of your normal Disney Plus features. It's got so many iconic lines I forgot that exist in here. I'm not going to say them right now because it's late and my brain does not work. But yeah, it's got a soundtrack that is pretty much dominated by a band some of you who are too young to remember called Letters to Cleo, unless you watch Parks and Recreation, and then you know somebody on there who has a big crush on the band Letters to Cleo, specifically their lead singer. But yeah, they pretty much dominate this movie. They have at least 3 or 4 songs, most of them covers. I Want You to Want Me, Cruel to Be Kind. So yeah, it's they even performed the closing credits on a rooftop in, I think, Seattle. It's either that or Tacoma, but either way, it's that area. Yeah, they're playing on top of a rooftop as a helicopter flies around them. So yeah, that's... they even play a part sort of in the plot, like they're a character in a sense. It helps bring some people together, 2 characters together. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it. But if you know Taming of the Shrew, you might know how it all turns out. I honestly can't remember Taming of the Shrew. If this all worked out exactly the same. I have a feeling this is a bit more of a Hollywood ending, but and it has a bit more of a Hollywood flavor to it, I would say. But there is also no lack of Shakespeare references throughout this. Obviously, just like Patrick's last name Verona, there's actually literally references to Shakespeare, where the teacher assigns them to retell a sonnet from a piece from Shakespeare in their own modern language. And yeah, so there's a lot to nosh on in this one, and it's the kind of thing back then when we all thought that Heath Ledger was just some sort of pretty boy, and we're all like, well, the girls are hot for Heath Ledger. This is what we do when we're 20s, like in our 20s, I guess, and we're petulant. We think, oh, all the women want is Heath Ledger. Whatever, that pretty boy will never amount to anything. He's the freaking Joker. And he was probably the best Joker. You can fight me on that. But, and he died way too soon. Oh, that's frustrating. That's really frustrating. Not the least for us, I mean, for his family even more so. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, this is a great cast. Some great music. By the way, there's so much more music than The Letters of Cleo. It is a 90s smorgasbord of late 90s style music. A little bit of ska in there. Feels like a little bit of ska. It's like third wave ska, if that's what the thing. But yeah, it's funny. It's well written. It's well performed. It's got big romance and yeah, it's worth checking out if you're old enough. If you're one of the kids who are still watching Disney Junior, no, stay away from this. Do not watch this. 10 Things I Hate About You are meant for people 13 and up. So, yeah. I'm not going to be approved about it. I'm just going to say 13 and up. Go for it. Go by the rating. Yeah, it's about an hour and 38 minutes long. 1999. It's a good film. I highly recommend it. I never thought in my life back then when I watched it that I'd be recommending it. Like, oh my gosh, because, you know, whatever. Pretty Boy Heath Ledger's in it. Julia Stiles. But yeah, it's holds up. It weirdly holds up after all this time. It's definitely a snapshot of the 90s. The last gasp of the 90s. But yeah, if you ever wanted to get a feel of what the music and the culture, the teenage culture, I guess, of that era was like, here you go. So, 10 Things I Hate About You on Disney Plus. Who'da thunk? Let's pick the next one. Will it be higher than 1? Yes, 436. What are the odds? I should play the lottery. 436. Oh, hey, we've seen 435 before. This takes us into P territory. And believe it or not, I've seen the first one, and while we were doing this, you know, this Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and now we get the sequel instead of the sequel before the original. We're seeing Pocahontas 2, Journey to a New World. Pocahontas 2, Journey to a New World. So yeah, it's one of those direct-to-video kind of things, I'm imagining. I'm pretty sure it is. So, not getting my hopes up, but we'll see. The original surprised me. So, I'll meet you back here tomorrow on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Bye-bye.